Nancy paced her immaculate living room, phone pressed to her ear. 3 days had passed since the incident, and her life had descended into chaos. The video, that horrible damning video, had gone viral overnight. HOA Karen drags disabled child off bus, confronted by trooper dad, had over 2 million views and counting. "Martin, you need to make this go away," she hissed to her attorney. "I've received death threats. The HOA board is calling for an emergency meeting to vote me out. This is destroying everything I've built." Martin's voice crackled through the speaker. "Nancy, you're facing potential assault charges. The family has a solid case. My recommendation is to issue a public apology and—" "Absolutely not." Nancy ended the call with a furious jab. "Apologize. Admit wrongdoing." That wasn't how Nancy Hollister operated. She built her reputation on standing firm, on enforcing rules, on being right. The doorbell rang, causing Nancy to jump. Peering through the peephole, she saw Diane Patterson, her vice president and closest ally on the HOA board. They'd scheduled the vote for tomorrow night. Diane announced without preamble, stepping inside. Her normally friendly face was tight with concern. "Nancy, it doesn't look good. Everyone's seen the video." "That video is completely out of context," Nancy insisted, pouring herself a glass of white wine with shaking hands. "I was trying to help." Diane's expression softened with pity. "You called her an inconvenience, Nancy. It's on the audio. Clear as day." Nancy collapsed onto her designer sofa. 20 years I've given to this community. 20 years of maintaining property values, of protecting our standards, of keeping the riffraff out. And now you need to save what you can," Diane said gently. "The Reeves family is well respected. Jason Reeves has received commendations for his community outreach work with disabled children. His wife runs the physical therapy center at County General." Nancy's wine glass froze halfway to her lips. "His wife is Dr. Reeves, the one who approved my mother's hip replacement last year?" Diane nodded grimly. "The community is rallying around them, not you. The best strategy now is damage control." After Diane left, Nancy found herself drawn to her home office window. From there, she could see 5 houses with freshly planted, Reeves family strong yard signs. Her own yard was conspicuously bare, except for the real estate signs someone had cruelly stabbed into her immaculate lawn during the night. Her computer chimed with an email notification, another cancellation for her interior design business, her 3rd client this week. The financial implications were beginning to sink in. Without her HOA presidency, and with her business tanking, what did she have left? That night, sleep eluded her. Around 2 a.m., Nancy found herself doing something she'd never done before, watching videos about children with disabilities, about the daily challenges they faced. She came across a documentary featuring parents discussing the stares, the comments, the casual cruelty they encountered. One mother's words struck her particularly hard. "The world already makes it clear they don't belong. They don't need anyone else pointing it out." Morning brought the sound of whispers outside her window. Nancy peered through the blinds to see Emma Reeves being helped onto the bus, her father standing protectively beside her. The little girl was wearing a crown made of pipe cleaners, and neighbors had lined the street, cheering as she boarded. Someone had organized a miniature parade for her. Nancy watched, transfixed, as Officer Reeves kissed his daughter's forehead before she was lifted into the bus. The tenderness in that gesture pierced something in Nancy's carefully armored heart. For the first time in decades, Nancy Hollister cried. Nancy Hollister's nostrils flared as she spotted the yellow school bus turning onto Maple Avenue. Her manicured finger jabbed at her wristwatch, confirming what she already knew. The bus was exactly 7 minutes late. Again, 7 minutes of her precious Tuesday afternoon wasted, 7 minutes that threw off her entire schedule of HOA business. As president of the Whispering Pines Homeowners Association, Nancy considered punctuality next to godliness. "Completely unacceptable," she muttered, marching toward the curb in her pristine white tennis shoes that had never seen a court. The bus wheezed to a stop, and Nancy's attention immediately locked onto the hydraulic lift deploying from the side. Another delay that could have been avoided if parents just picked up their special needs children separately, instead of inconveniencing everyone else. The lift lowered, revealing a small girl with metal leg braces and a bright pink backpack adorned with unicorn patches. The child moved slowly, guided by the bus aide. Nancy's foot began tapping impatiently against the concrete. "Excuse me," Nancy called out, her voice carrying that special tone perfected by those who've spoken to countless managers. "This bus is consistently late. Who's in charge here?" The bus driver, a heavyset woman with tired eyes, barely glanced up. "Ma'am, we're on schedule according to the district. Now please step back while we help Emma down." Nancy's face flushed crimson. Nobody dismissed Nancy Hollister. Nobody. "I'm the HOA president, and this neighborhood has standards. These children should have separate transportation arrangements if they're going to delay everyone else." The bus aide froze, mouth agape, but Nancy was already moving. She stepped forward, grasping the child's arm. "Let me show you how quickly this can be done," Nancy declared, pulling the girl forward. The sudden movement caused the child to lose balance, her leg brace catching on the lift edge. She fell forward with a frightened cry. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" A deep voice boomed from behind. Nancy turned to see a tall man in plainclothes running toward them. "Get your hands off my daughter." Nancy squared her shoulders. "I'm expediting this process. Your daughter is making the bus late every day, and as HOA president, I don't give a damn if you're the Queen of England." The man snarled, gently scooping up his daughter. The girl buried her face in his neck, whimpering softly. "You just put your hands on my child." Something in the man's stance made Nancy take a step back. His eyes had that authoritative glint she'd seen before. The bus driver was now on her radio, speaking urgently. "Sir, I was simply Officer Jason Reeves." He cut her off, shifting to reveal the badge clipped to his belt. "State Police. And you've just committed assault on a minor with a disability, my minor." A hush fell over the gathering neighbors. Nancy's throat went desert dry as she watched the officer pull out his phone with his free hand. "Wait," she stammered, suddenly aware of the crowd forming. Mrs. Abernathy from across the street was recording everything on her phone. The Henderson twins were whispering excitedly. "This is all a misunderstanding." Officer Reeves ignored her, speaking quietly into his phone while comforting his daughter. Nancy's perfect Tuesday afternoon was rapidly unraveling. The previously insignificant 7-minute delay now seemed laughably trivial compared to what she was facing. This couldn't be happening. Not to Nancy Hollister, 5-time HOA President of the Year. She glanced desperately at her neighbors, searching for allies, but found only shocked expressions and disapproving heads, shaking slowly back and forth. "Ma'am," Officer Reeves addressed her with cold professionalism, "I'm going to need you to stay right here while my colleagues arrive. We're going to have a long discussion about appropriate behavior around children with disabilities." Nancy felt her carefully constructed world begin to crumble around her. The community center buzzed with voices as Nancy slipped into the back row. She'd chosen to arrive unfashionably late to avoid the gauntlet of stares and whispers. The emergency HOA meeting was standing room only, a turnout Nancy would have been proud of under different circumstances. Robert Chen, the board secretary, was already speaking. "Unprecedented situation that requires immediate action to preserve our community's reputation." Nancy's lawyer had advised against attending, but something stronger than pride had pulled her here tonight. The morning's revelation had shifted something fundamental inside her. She wasn't sure what she was going to do yet, but she knew she needed to be present for whatever happened next. "Before we proceed with the vote," Robert continued, "Officer Reeves has asked for a moment to address the board." The crowd parted as Jason Reeves made his way to the front. He looked different in this setting, less the fearsome state trooper and more a concerned father in jeans and a button-down shirt. "I appreciate the community's support these past few days," he began, his deep voice carrying effortlessly. "But I'm troubled by the direction things have taken." A confused murmur rippled through the room. "My daughter Emma has been asking why people are being mean to the bus lady. She doesn't understand why there are angry signs in our neighbors' yards, or why people send us videos of someone being yelled at in parking lots." Nancy felt heat rising to her face as all eyes in the room swiveled toward her. "Emma has cerebral palsy," Officer Reeves continued. Every day is a challenge, but she faces it with courage and kindness. She's taught our family that mistakes, even serious ones, deserve forgiveness if followed by genuine change. Nancy's breath caught in her throat. Was he saying what she thought he was saying? I've withdrawn my complaint against Ms. Hollister on one condition, that she work with the Accessibility Awareness Program at Emma's school for the next year. The room erupted in both protesting and supportive voices. Nancy sat frozen, unable to process what was happening. Before she could think, Nancy found herself standing, her legs carrying her toward the front. The room fell silent, all eyes trained on her. She faced Officer Reeves, then the board, then the community she'd alternately served and terrorized for 2 decades. I don't deserve this chance, she began, her voice barely above a whisper. What I did was inexcusable. I spent my life focusing on rules, appearances, property values, things that seemed important until I saw myself through your eyes. She turned to Officer Reeves. I accept your condition, but I want to do more. I'm resigning from the HOA board effective immediately. Gasps echoed through the room as Nancy continued, surprising even herself with each word. And I'd like to donate my design services to help make community spaces more accessible, starting with the playground at Maple Street Park. Officer Reeves studied her face, searching for sincerity. After a long moment, he extended his hand. Emma has physical therapy on Thursdays at 4. The program meets right after. Nancy took his hand, her own trembling slightly. I'll be there. As the meeting adjourned, people approached Nancy, some with cautious support, others with lingering skepticism. Diane squeezed her shoulder as she passed. Never thought I'd see the day Nancy Hollister backed down. I'm not backing down, Nancy replied, straightening her shoulders. I'm finally stepping up. Walking to her car, Nancy noticed a small figure waiting by Officer Reeves' truck. Emma sat in her wheelchair, working intently on something colorful in her lap. As Nancy approached, the girl looked up with none of the fear or anger Nancy had expected. I made this for you, Emma said, holding out a pipe peanut crown identical to the one she'd worn that morning. Dad says you're going to help make the playground better for kids like me. Nancy carefully accepted the delicate crown, her perfectly manicured fingers closing gently around the humble creation that somehow felt more valuable than any of her design awards. Yes, Nancy promised, both to Emma and to herself. I am. As she drove home, the pipe peanut crown resting on her passenger seat, Nancy realized the HOA presidency had given her power, but she'd never truly had influence, not the kind that mattered. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, skeptics to convince, trust to rebuild. The journey wouldn't be easy. But for the first time in years, Nancy Hollister was looking forward to being proven wrong.